We are back from New York. I'm still recovering.
That was
Natasha's totally fine because nothing phases her. And we're talking all things Halloween. Do we need to discuss anything from New York before we get started?
I don't know why it was so crazy.
Well, I think most people keep asking me, why did you have 6 bags?
Okay, first of all, it was 4. And let me describe which one.
Well, 5 because you told me to check a bag too.
Oh, well, you had a bag, checked bag, yes. So 5 total for the 2 of us, but I had 4. Okay, one of my bags is like my kitchen. And that includes like stuff like my supplements, my protein powder,
Your Vitamix,
my,
let's be
my
honest.
Vitamix, my glass straws, my smoothie cup. And that's what I put in that one. And extra snacks to bring back home. Then I have one bag that's like my toiletry bag because I don't like it to get messed up with other stuff in case things leak, but I've figured out how things don't leak anymore. And then I had like one folding small bag that had
How
like,
did things not leak anymore?
oh, you never saw this trick where you take like a balloon and you cut the little bottom off and then you put it on top and so things don't leak?
Oh, did
Oh,
you do that on your things?
uh-huh.
I missed that. I
I
was so
didn't pull
tired.
anything out because we were there for like 24
Oh, I
hours.
saw one of your things had that, like, hair tie around it, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I should have done that trick."
so when I brought my Osea Malibu body wash, it, like, doesn't close, so then you take a rubber band, like a hairband, and you wrap it around so you can't actually push the pump.
Yeah, most people might find it entertaining that you brought an entire Osea Malibu body wash for 3 or 4 days in New York.
Alright. If I had time, I would have put it into smaller containers. I just was rushing and 4 kids, and I don't know how everybody does it because,
It's
like,
easier to do the rubber band.
it was easier to do the rubber band. It's easier to
I
do
put the coconut oil swishing stuff that you got me into, the
like
Terraco.
a Terraco, yeah.
I put it into a little travel
Oh, you
size.
did. That was impressive.
Yeah, that was, and it was
But I brought the
silicone, it wasn't plastic, so I thought you'd, like, sort of approve of it.
I I approve. You a fudger. I approve. Don't mess with me. I approve. Silicone is totally fine. It's just you don't wanna put silicone in the oven. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't put it in the oven,
You
thankfully.
didn't put it in the oven, and
Uh,
don't put it in the dishwasher.
okay,
Uh,
so we got 2 suitcases, and then the 3rd was clothes, and then the
okay, no, no.
4th, what
So,
was
no,
the 4th?
the 3rd was like a folding bag that had, like, my outfits, and then the 4th, I was
Right, because
expecting.
in fairness, so people understand, because I was explaining this to one of your friends I ran into, you had 1 suitcase that had hanging stuff because you were speaking on a panel with a lot of press, and you wanted a several outfit change
Yes.
options.
So I had a brunch, and then I had a panel, and then I also had the board meeting, and then we were supposed to go out to dinner that night. Like, I had different.
Options for hanging stuff,
Yes.
and then another suitcase that had just
Like,
pajamas and stuff.
my exercise clothes so that we could work out each morning, and then it
That
had
didn't
my
happen.
boots. The shush, that no, that didn't happen. But I had boots, and the boots take up a lot of space.
The boots do take up space,
That
yeah.
took up, like,
Not
half
5
the
bags, but
suitcase.
yeah.
It takes up a lot, and then I
Yeah.
had 2 heavy coats, and so that takes up a lot of room.
Yeah, the coats take up a lot, the boots, I hear you. It was a lot.
You know,
I
I bring all my travel medicine. That take like my travel medicine bag that I have for when we travel with the kids. That's a carry-on suitcase.
Yeah. Well, I laughed so hard I cried traveling with you. It was very comical. I definitely enjoyed all the laughs, even though I was spent at the end.
Yeah, no, that was a long 48 hours just to get to New York for 24 hours and then have to fly back and get up at 4:30 in the morning to head back.
Yeah, it was a lot, but we did it.
We did it.
Okay,
Anyway,
now we're back just in time for Halloween, and the Halloween madness has begun. $2 billion will be spent on just Halloween candy.
mhm.
And the average American consumes 3.5 pounds of candy over Halloween.
I believe that.
Okay, now you go and do all your Debbie Downer stuff. No, just kidding. You tell
Whatever. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm realistic and
you're saving us all from all the things that come with that amount of candy.
sure, fine, we can put it that way.
So I think the number one argument is, well, it's just one night. What's the harm? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay. Look, at the end of the day, it is one night, but the problem is I find that a lot of people stretch it beyond one night. And they give candy each day in lunch, and then they get candy when they get home, and then they have candy for breakfast. And it goes beyond for another month. And we wonder why kids get sick more often between October and January, because there's so many holidays where they're consuming sugar, and we all know that sugar depresses the immune system. It does not make the immune system work as well. So
that's why everyone's sick after Halloween.
yes, exactly. And why I think it's great when schools close down for the day after Halloween. So you're not trying to rush out the door to get to school in the morning when everybody's exhausted, everybody's had too much sugar, then they're run down because they don't get enough sleep, and then they get sick. And then they end up missing the next week of school, which sucks.
I disagree with you on the school being closed the next day. Nobody wants their kids home. I want more school, the better.
Fine, fair point.
Our school has a late start. That's just enough. Rest.
Okay, late start. All right, late start. I don't know.
We all got to work.
Fair point. Yes. Are you going to call me the diva now who stays at home? And I have
You keep your kids home.
I'd keep them home. I know. I'm very much aware not everybody has the luxury to do that, and it's hard. But yes, a late start I think would be very nice.
Yeah, so that's a good compromise. Okay, so your kids go trick-or-treating and they get a bunch of junk, and I can call it that because it is junk. And it's got dies and it's got all the things, and they're so excited. And, what do you do?
First off, there's different.
And it depends on the age too.
Yes, so it depends on the age. It also depends on what's important to you. And, again, it is one day. So for me, artificial dyes are a no-go. I'm not against sugar, but artificial dyes I just don't think are necessary. So I personally buy the better versions that don't have artificial dyes in them. And so I let my kids swap it all out when they get home. And when they're curious about it, we have discussions about it. It's not just, well, you can't have it. It has artificial dyes. They're going to poison you. So we're not going to scare them like that, right? We're going to educate them and talk about artificial dyes, talk about ingredients, talk about things that are real foods, things that are not real foods. Why do they use carrot juice to make something orange or spirulina to make something green, but then they use red 40 and yellow 6 and blue lake 6 and all these synthetic versions? What's the point? And how do they make our body feel afterwards? And the way we describe that for kids, I think you can't explain to a kid like, oh, we're going to be so hyperactive. They have no idea what that means. So you have to say, well, sometimes it makes your mind not think as clearly. And you feel like there's so many things going on in your head and you can't get out one thought. So that's one way to describe it. Or you feel like you want to just jump up and down on the bed 100 times and it sounds like so much fun, but you can't control it. And you feel like you can't just stop if you wanted to. And that's another way to describe it in, I don't know, what I call kid language, right? So when you describe it to them like that, they're more likely to understand it, accept it, and feel like they're educated and empowered, right? When I see the kids want to try it and it's their first time, honestly, I'm open to it when kids are older. My older two kids have definitely tried things with artificial dyes. And I just lower my expectations in terms of their behavior.
2 questions about that. One is, what do you say to the people who would say, like, you're making your kids crazy, they're going to be neurotic, they're going to go binge on like red dyes and terrible foods when they get to college? I've seen the stories, blah, blah, you're preventing them from having all this stuff. Give all your answers.
Again, I'm not preventing them. I'm educating them. I think there's a difference, and I'm not preventing them from having sugar. I'm educating them about artificial dyes, and I'm not telling them that they can't have it. I'm saying if we're going to have it, I want you to actually look at the back of the package, look in the ingredients, and let's talk about it together. Let's look up what these things are, and then you make up your own mind. And if they still want to try it, I'm fine having them try it. I want my kids to try it and not think it's some mysterious food. And then I'd have them compare, and we do like little experiments where we say, all right, here's the red vine with red 40. Here's the red vine without.
Oh my God, the red vine without is such a find. I can't eat sugar currently because of this whole candida. Blame Dr. Elroy. But if I could, that red vine with no dye is So
It's
good.
so good, right? And
Why have the die?
so this is like the experiments that we do with our kids, right? And then I also tell my kids, like, look, if you're going to eat the foods that don't help you grow, let's eat the better stuff. So I have 10 tips to help with Halloween or just holidays that involve a lot of sugar. I have ten ways to help reduce the consumption
Give
and
us all 10. We're very excited.
okay, and not be or not feel like you end up restricting your kid or you're going to create a child that's neurotic or going to go down the path where once they're unleashed they're going to eat everything in sight. So with young children, we did the candy fairy and we told our kids about this magical story when they were younger that the candy fairy is this magical being that likes to collect candy from kids all over the world. And in return, she leaves a special gift or treasure to thank you for sharing all of those candies with her. And she uses that candy to make magic potions for good deeds. And so it's just a nice story that has
She
some
can make magic potions out of toxic dyes.
but this is what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about your 3, 4, 5 year olds. Even with your 3 year olds, you're probably, if your 3 year olds don't have older siblings, they're more likely just to, here's the bag of candy and trade you for a toy because they are more interested in the act of collecting the candy. It's more exciting to go door to door and ask for candy and collect and see how many you can get. It's not the act of eating it. Now, with the candy fairy, like say when you have even a 5, 6, 7 year old, they're still into the candy fairy. That's when you can let them have a few pieces, right? And then the rest of it gets placed next to their bed, and then the candy fairy comes and trades it out. And I like to make it more special than that and put little lights, like little those candle tea lights around, and I put little stickers around so it looks like little candy fairy feet.
Okay, I'm the naysayer here. Who has time for this?
Okay, I don't have time to put my oil pulling into like a squeeze it like silicone bottle. But you know
Touche.
what? Touche. I have time to make little footprints.
Okay, good call. Keep going.
Okay, but you don't have to, but it's fine.
You win.
Pretty there. Um, Stop. Okay, so the thing I also do with my kids is when they're trading it out, what's important to do when they trade it out.
Wait,
I
are we at trading it out? That's another thing.
oh well, it's kind of involves with the candy fairy because let them have some, right? But when they are eating some of that candy, I have them trade it for my version of the candy. So I have my version of the candies that I think are better for you that don't have artificial dyes, right?
Okay, I have to say was part my number 2 question. It's not really a question; it's more a comment. The last year, you suggested to us. I guess my son was 7 last year. You suggested to us what I'll call the great trade. After we got home with trick or treating with you guys, which was so much fun, we had a huge bag of candy. And we laid it all out, and he got to stay up a little bit later, and we
Mhm.
did the great trade. I had all the things. I was ready. I was armed with the Yum Earth Starburst version and all the things, okay? Which they
Right.
even have better ones this year.
The giggles, they have the Sour Patch
I found that to be 10 times more fun than having a wild, bonkers, off the wall child running around the house, trying to get him to sleep, all of that. Instead, we had our great trade. He was
I
allowed to
think
eat a
we
few
have to
pieces.
explain what the great trade is. So I'm the banker, right? Okay. And the kids are the ones who are trying to sell stuff and they've got to figure out what things are worth. And so they think like, oh, well, you've got the smaller pieces, but well, you have to add up a bunch of smaller pieces of candy to get one big candy. Well, is that worth it? And so we have this great discussion and they're all talking about it. And you end up having so much more fun with it.
It's so much fun. It's a great little family tradition to start after the end of Halloween to come home for the trade, get the things you want. But then what do you do with that after you've traded? How much candy do they get that night? And then what do you do with the rest?
It depends on the age of the child, depends on the temperament of the child.
Mm.
But I took like a big handful and said, all right, here's your stuff. And then the rest will stay for the candy fairy. Now, my kids last year were 9, 7, 4.5, and the baby was 1.5 or something. So my 9-year-old, he's aware that the candy fairy is not there, but he still said, "I still want a toy though. So can you just do it and I'll help you with the girls and I'll help switch it out for the girls, but still give me something." And I said, "All right." He's like, "I
Aw.
know you do it." But he's like, "I want to be the one. I want to be a helper. Can I help out?" So that's something your older kids can do. But as far as like the amount of candy, you have to decide what amount you think is best.
But then I need to know what do you do with the excess candy?
Oh, so things that you can do with the excess candy. This is fun. I'm getting into my other tip now. You take your excess candy, and I either take like one of those cardboard boxes and build it into like a little house, and I get real glue so they know you can't eat it. And they take all the pieces of candy and they glue it onto the house on the cardboard, and they make a fun candy house that they get to, play in for a day.
Oh, so if they take all their candy, then they trade for good stuff. Now they have a big loot of like Yum Earth and like, better for you, no dye stuff.
They get to have some. They get to eat it.
They have some, and then it's just it's not a huge stash, I guess. So it's
Right,
like,
not a huge stash, but honestly, I say tonight's the night you get to eat it. This is not something that we're gonna eat. We're not gonna save it. This is the night you get to eat it, and I let them go for it. Now, some people think that's nuts. Some people think, well, that's gonna hurt their bellies. Yeah, it will.
let them feel that that's what it is.
Yeah, I want them to feel it. And a lot of my kids, they'll at a certain point say like, "Oh, this is too much." Now, my one child who's got ADHD, who gets that dopamine hit from sugar, she definitely goes a little bit further, but then she feels it and she's like, "Oh, my tummy hurts." And so we sit there together, we cuddle,
Lots of loot boxing.
lots of loom boxing. She lays on her right side and we cuddle together. And so I just expect that she will have a stomach ache each Halloween.
Mm.
That's just natural.
Okay. I like this. Keep going with your tips.
Now, the candy that you're trading it in for, the candy that do have the dyes, the ones that you've been collecting, people get frustrated. They're like, well, you're just going to give it away to other kids that shouldn't have it, right? That's not like that's messed up. Or
I think our school collects for the military.
the military, the firefighters, they can make their own decisions on what they want to eat and what they want to have. But then some people say, I don't want to give it to other people either because I don't want them having the artificial dyes, even if they are adults. So that's why I thought it was fun to have them use all the candies. And it's a great activity to decorate these cardboard boxes that I have too many of because I am an ordering.
Self-proclaimed. Okay. What's your tip number? I don't know. I think we're at 3 now. We did
Okay. I
the
think,
fairy. We did the great trade. We did the donating the candy,
and decorating the box with candy.
decorating the box. What else you got?
All right. I find that we just associate Halloween with candy. And I think we have to move away from that because there's so much more to Halloween than just candy, right? Costumes are a big part, right? But we end up buying the costume. We get our kid set up in a costume and then they run off, but they're not really involved in that, right? I find that when you have your kid craft and make some other costume or do some kind of face paint on themselves, that they're more engaged in it. They are more excited about it. And it's not just about the candy, right? It's about the idea of being someone else for a day or being something else for a day. So I like to do the script of like Halloween is a time where we can use our hands and our imagination to become anything that we can dream of. And
Mm,
when we create our costumes, we can weave magic into the fabric.
mm. It's an institutional problem that you have to really get to because, like, that's a little harder.
That is harder, but like with my kids, I said, go find, like when my son, what was he, was like a werewolf. He wanted to be something scary, right? I said, find something brown in your closet where you could be a werewolf. So he like found brown overalls and then he got some mittens and we bought hair, like fake hair, and he like glued it onto the mittens so he could have paws that he made himself. So he was really proud of that. Now, obviously, all have time for it, but like I find that October is that month of Halloween and they have Halloween parties, a lot of them, and there's a lot of candy at these things. So why can't we call it a like harvest festival, right? And tell the story of the harvest festival. And in the past, we used to be so appreciative of everything that we would harvest in the fall. And we have so much gratitude for all of the produce that we had from the summer and now into the fall. And there can be fun things at parties like apple bobbing, pumpkin carving, and even baking. What I love to do on the day of Halloween, especially if they are out of school, but this year they're not. They have school, I think, is to bake something beforehand. And so when they get home, instead of rushing right into the candy, they know that they have homemade chocolate chip cookies waiting for them, right? Or we can make homemade ice cream together. And if you don't want to make anything together, I give all of my kids the choice. Would you rather eat the candy, or would you like to eat a homemade cookie, homemade ice cream, or even the Alex, ALEC, Alec? That's the regenerative ice cream. I love that ice cream. It's delicious. And one of my kids is not a candy fiend, and they're like, I'd rather have ice cream. So can we have a big bowl of ice cream, and can I put toppings on it? Go for it.
Okay, I have two things to say about this. One is, this isn't a tip, but you always talk about traditions and creating traditions around holidays. Halloween would be no exception. Like, you can make it such a thing. I know you have encouraged us, like the pumpkin carving is a big part of it for us, and we love it. And it's super fun to all do it together on a day that we're free, like the Saturday before, whatever we can do. And then the other tradition that you started that I love, and we've just basically come to your house to do it, is like
We
fill
can't
them
do it
up.
this year, no.
I know, I'm so bummed. Is fill them up beforehand with like a really good, hearty, delicious dinner and some like healthier things. So I think you had chili and cornbread one year or
Doing
something like
cornbread is
that.
my thing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
chili is my
And that, like, my kid was full going into Halloween from like a delicious chili and cornbread. I mean, maybe that sounds ridiculous to some people. So whatever that is for you guys, like a good taco bar or something like that. And then he wasn't like starving for the Mounds bar that was first put in his bag, you know?
Well, I find that when kids go off trick or treating, they often haven't had dinner yet. And so when
Mm,
they go trick or treating, they say, Mom, Dad, can I eat the candy now? And then they end up eating the candy while they're walking. That I actually won't personally allow them to do. I never allow them to eat anything while they're walking
mm.
because they should be seated, and it's a choking hazard as well because they're not paying attention.
Even for the older ones?
Even for the older ones, you shouldn't. No one walk like if you go to
Mm.
Europe, you'll never see anybody walking and eating. It's also an appreciation for your food, even if it's candy. It's an appreciation for the time and effort and ingredients that went into it, sitting down to eat it. And so there's a respect issue there, right?
That's what my father always told me. That's what I always tell my kid. But I am guilty of letting him eat Halloween candy on the walks.
We look. No one's
I mean,
perfect.
guilty, whatever. I've done worse things.
No, I've done it, and I've done it for sure on other things, like when my kids are out walking, they're holding a bag and they're eating their croissant, sure, but it's a idea that you'd like to hold up there, that when you can do that, great. So, when you have that meal beforehand, at least they had a hearty, nutritious meal. So,
Mm.
when they do go off and have a ton of candy, you're not gonna fret as much, right?
By the way, it's okay to have dinner at 3:30, 4 o'clock on Halloween.
Oh, yeah, you readjust. I'm all about readjusting the schedule.
Right. So
And
just
usually kids are ravenous when they come home from school, right?
right. So might as well eat.
So you might as well eat, and you have that great big meal ready to go. And what we do on Halloween, our tradition was to have a bunch of people over. We have the crock pot, the 360 cookware crock pot. I have the chili, or I have some kind of stew or something. Usually I do chili every year. That's like my go-to when it's a bunch of people because it's easier to serve. And you make a little toppings bar, right? And it's so much fun for the kids to do that. And they get to be around people and be in their costumes. And it's not just about the idea of eating candy.
Love it. Okay, give me some more tips.
Then bake. I'm also all about baking. I'm always like, let's make the cookie dough beforehand. So I make the cookie dough the day before, and then we cook the cookies um, and put them in the oven either right before we go or right when we get home, depending on timing.
Great. Okay, give me some more tips.
I told you we talked about a harvest festival, and I find that when it's like a fun event where there's like different things like apple bobbing and baking, it's not just about the act of eating candy. Oh, and there's my script for it. Here's my script. Long ago, Halloween was a celebration of the harvest, where families would give thanks for the fruits and vegetables that grew from the earth. We can still celebrate that today by enjoying all of the colors and tastes of autumn. And so I usually pair it with some books that are all about autumn and fall.
That's nice. Yeah. Colors and tastes of autumn are like not candy corn, by the way, because I come sometimes associate that.
Can I just say I was addicted to candy corn as a child? Like
By the way, Yum Earth, get back on the handy corn game.
right?
If you
Like
hear us,
why? No.
why did you not have that anymore? It was so good.
I mean,
I don't know how they
especially
made it.
as like a millennial mom,
No, millennial moms want Yum Earth candy
candy
corn.
corn. All moms do. Let's face it. Even what's before the millennial?
Me,
Oh,
but I just I don't know. I play a millennial mom on
on here
podcast.
on podcast, play a millennial mom. Okay. Next thing. Oh, so I like to create a nature table. So this is something that is found in more Waldorf schools or Waldorf pedagogy, where I have this half moon shaped table and I change it out based on the season. And I have these Sarah silk scarves. And this is something that I just find relaxing for me. And you're going to say, how do you have time to do this? It's just something that I find like meditating for me. So, like when my youngest is
It's
napping,
not for everybody. I will tell you that.
no, it's not for everybody, but I love looking at it and it makes me feel very relaxed and peaceful. So it's like this half moon shaped table. You can have any table, honestly, or just a ledge. And I put some Sarah silk scarves down and I put these little felted figures, or I get little acorns and things that we collect on our nature walks and leaves, and we hang them and we put them all up there. And it's just something pretty to look at, when they're playing or when you're
It's a
just
good reminder of what Halloween is and not just the candy. I'll give you that one.
there you go.
I'm not creating a nature table, but I do appreciate
No, but like we have all these beautiful gifts from Mother Earth, right? And that give us this sense of magic, right? That we can collect these beautiful colored leaves and pine cones and acorns and rocks, and that can be your nature table. That's enough, right?
Okay.
You're like, I'm not doing the nature table.
No, I'm not doing the nature table.
Will you collect when he was younger? Did you not go with the little basket and collect stuff on your walks?
Yeah, but like there's enough in this house. Like I don't need a table full of crap. Okay. Keep
Fine.
going. Give me another tip.
I also think that we need to incorporate more non-food items. Why is it just about candy? Why can't we get treasures and stickers, and better alternatives? Those are
Baseball cards for sports
baseball
fans.
cards. There you go. And
I feel
be
like my
nice to
son
his
would
soccer
love a couple
cards.
baseball cards. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
soccer cards.
Soccer cards. He
Oh,
loves soccer cards.
my daughters, they love treasure like little stones, right? Like little stones that I collect. They love ribbons, right? Like, oh my goodness, they have so many like different kinds of ribbons that they braid and turn into bracelets and
Yeah,
what
crystals. They love crystals.
crystals,
Even my son loves the crystals. By the way, we did not make an organic costume this year, but it's still, I think, Dr. Organic Mommy approved. It's so cool. It's going to be like viral. I'm so excited.
Well, it beats me. I didn't have any costumes this year. We're not going to be here on Halloween because we're going to be
I
traveling.
know. That's another thing is like, how are you explaining to your kids that you're not home for Halloween?
My kids get it. We know we're traveling where my husband has some work and they understand. But what they asked to do is, can they go around the house and like, can we set up like a hunt where I have one area that's for my son because he's faster and can find everything, and I have another area for my daughters. And I'm going to hide candy where they can go collect it.
It's like COVID. It's like COVID Halloween. That's what we
COVID
did.
Halloween, COVID Halloween. I don't know. Emily had a good idea. Like, just go to your friends' houses like the weekend before and have them
Yeah.
collect candy. I don't know.
I think you come over. We'd be thrilled. We'd have our candy out ready.
Yes. Well, we have to,
And it's like Dr. Organic Mommy ready too.
it's all good. Doesn't
I
have
think
to.
wait, I have one to show you
What?
that you're going to be totally blown away by. Wait, can I time out to get this candy for you?
Time out to go get the candy. All right. For those listening, she's getting up to go get some kind of special candy that she says is, quote, Dr. Organic Mommy approved. I don't know what it is, but I'm very curious. Oh, I wanted to tell the script about incorporating non-food treats. So you can say to your little ones, the candy fairy also loves little treasures like shiny stones and magical ribbons, colorful ribbons, magical stickers that sparkle, and you can share these with your friends instead of sweets. And I
That's
thought,
lovely. Now for the sweet part of this podcast.
The sugary sweet part? What
Okay.
candy did you find?
I was on Thrive Market app, which I order from like probably once a month, and I stock up on sea snacks and all the things that you tell me. But they suggested to me something that looked gold, and sure enough, it probably is. It's like Fun Dip, but organic with
Oh,
organic fruit. Fun Dip, okay?
oh my
Dip'em
gosh,
it's
this is
called.
genius.
Genius.
I
Hi.
loved Fun Dip. I loved Fun Dip and I loved Jawbreakers.
Yeah, fun. This is going to be
Oh, the Fun Dip is
Halloween
brilliant.
gold. You might need to cancel your flight.
What?
I have 2 strawberry lemon, 2 raspberry lime, 2 tropical organic fruit powder, dippable fruit sticks, and it has organic fruit as the main ingredient, no colors, top 9 allergen free, vegan, gluten free.
Okay, wait. Don't
And
look at all the marketing. Go to the ingredients.
okay, I knew you were going to say that. It's not perfect, but it's got like maple sugar and organic lime water. There are natural flavors. It's not perfect, but
No,
it's
but that's
way
much better.
better,
Better.
way better.
I'd totally be okay with giving that to the kids. Wait, what's the stick made out of? Because like the Fun Dip stick was like that white, literally
It's
like
made out of a fruit stick.
what's a fruit stick?
That's what they call it. I don't want to open it because it's my only package and I'm really excited for Halloween.
Okay, I'm gonna order it and I will open it. Okay. All right.
Not paid sponsor.
Not what?
Not a paid sponsor.
We don't do any of that anyways. That's what
I
I
don't
like.
know. Maybe I should open it just to show you.
Well, I don't want to ruin it for him.
Oh, a woman-owned company and certified B Corp.
Oh, even better.
Right? She's a mom of 2, it says, with a PhD.
I like it.
Oh, I'm totally
I'm
into it.
all for it. What are they? So wait, what are they called? Dip'ems?
Yep.
All right, I'm ordering.
Certified organic.
All right, my next tip. Have a storytelling evening, especially with your older kids. They love scary stories and they crave them, right? Just be mindful with your younger ones or your kids who are more sensitive or highly sensitive. But I find that, on Halloween night, you open the doors to magical worlds, right? And like where witches fly on a broom and animals suddenly can talk and fairies dance all around. And so why not light a bunch of candles and sit around or even have like you remember what True Beverly Hills, like where they turn the flashlight upside down and they tell
Oh,
the
you don't have to remind me. I watched that movie 2 weeks ago.
Wait, what? Wait, we might need to go backwards. Wait, what? Why'd you watch it 2 weeks ago?
It was on the plane. It was so good.
Oh,
It
no,
was
I love that movie, but it's just like, wait. You're
it's
so
such a
funny.
good movie.
I love that movie. I can't wait to watch that.
Okay, keep going.
So I think that can also be a part of it, and you can also make like a lantern. We do this in our school, and they call them lantern walks during Harvest Festival. And when they make their own paper lanterns, it's really cool, and you can go on a walk with them. So I think that's something that's nice. Getting your kids involved in cooking and baking. So before you guys go out the day before, making like the whole chocolate chip cookie dough, get them involved in the kitchen with you and they'll be excited to eat those things, sometimes more so than the candies because they actually made them, right?
But we are releasing this on Tuesday and the Halloween is Thursday. So if you have questions, DM us at the podcast when millennials become moms and we will answer your questions and maybe even do a Dip'ems giveaway.
We'll have to overnight it, but all right. We'll
Or,
overnight it.
I
Yeah.
mean, let's be honest, moms are going to want this not on Halloween. Any day of the week, this is a
Well,
great mom.
yes, parents are going to want the dip-ems because like, oh my gosh, I have to give those to Rachel. She like walked in with Fun Dips before.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen a Fun Dip in like 20 years.
There you go.
All right. So hopefully those tips help. And yeah, have a fun, happy Halloween. And remember, Halloween is not just about candy. And it's one day. So also don't fret if you can't get those dye-free candies and if you can't switch them all out and you can't go through and do all those things. It's one day. They get one day of candy. It's not going to. Some people are very passionate about it and say it's poison. Don't make anybody make you feel bad about that. It's not. It's one day. 80-20.
Good point.
Yeah.
Unless you have candida, in which case you can't have any.
Oh my God. And mic drop.
Scene.
And scene.
Bye.